Hi friends, it's Danielle with Take Care Mama, and as you can see from the title, I wrote a book. Anticlimactic. I wrote a freaking book, you guys. I'm very proud of myself. Okay, so where to start? I didn't plan out this video. The rest of my life has been neglected. You can see, I mean, is it ever clean back here? But it's really messy right now. Those, by the way, I was plotting on my wall the novel. Okay, so it's a novel. It is around 50,000 words for the rough draft. 50,000 words. I've got an education. I didn't know anything about this stuff. 50,000 words is, I think it's like The Great Gatsby is around 50,000 words. It is on the really short side of a novel. I think it's kind of on the shortest end of what could be considered a novel. 40,000 and lower is a novella. So it is short, but I mean, The Great Gatsby is I wrote 50,000 words and I did it all in November, by the way. It is 100 pages, single spaced on like a Word-like document. No breaks for chapters. I'm just really proud. The genre. Let's talk about the genre. I almost don't want to say too much because there is a chance I will publish this someday. It's not anywhere ready, but it changed so much from when I started to when I finished. I really did feel that magic of the book and the characters coming to life and dictating where the book was supposed to go. And while I have a rough draft, I will probably have 7 more before it could be put out into the public, and I'm sure it will change again. But I have done some research on the genre. I didn't know much about any of this stuff, you guys. I just literally I woke up one day and decided to write this book. I'll go through that story, but I think the best genre is called magical realism. I would hope it would be like Harry Potter for adults, which is funny because I don't even like Harry Potter, but it's about a woman and she's living in this real world. There's no magic. And one of her family members dies. She's going through that grief process and dealing with some dark demons in her own life, and then some weird magical / scary things start to happen. Urban fantasy is another genre. It might be even a little horror. Yeah, so that's what I would box it in for now. I'm drinking my iced coffee. So how this came up, I've always wanted to write, so it's not too random. And I will link actually my last year's vision board for 2020. Remember when we all thought 2020 was going to be oh my gosh. And I had a picture of a woman writing, and I even said in that video explaining it how I would love to write a book one day, but that picture more represented blogging and just practicing the art of writing. And I remember saying, I don't expect to write a book in 2020 or anything. And then on October 29th, I heard of something called NaNoWriMo. I had never heard of this before. And it stands for, let me see if I can do this, National Novel Writing Month. It is a month when a group of writers get together. I think hundreds of thousands take part in this. It's a free nonprofit. And there are loose rules. You're supposed to start a new project, a new novel, write your first word on November 1st and get to your 50,000th word on November 30th. And I did it. I literally decided on October 29th to jump right in. I didn't know anything. I heard this from Sarah Cannon. I will link her channel below called Heart Breathings. It's kind of serendipitous how we got connected. She commented years ago on one of my pregnancy videos, and I could tell from her profile picture, oh, I bet it looks like she has her own YouTube channel, and she does, and it's a lot bigger than mine. And she writes YA books, which is not my thing, but I still subscribe because I really liked her. And she also is a big planner, which I'm a big planner. So she does a lot of planning videos. She's into Erin Condren, Plum Paper Planner, Happy Planner. Like, I just love that kind of stuff. So I more followed her because of that. But also, even though I don't like YA books, I've always wanted to write, and I'm really interested in the writer's life. She's a self-published writer. She makes 6 figures a year. I think multiple 6 figures. So she's been successful. So I've just always followed her, and I kept seeing these NaNoWriMo videos in October. I didn't know what it was. I kind of kept ignoring them. And then finally I watched a couple of her videos and I was like, I can do this. And I signed up and I did it. So 50,000 words in a month, and November's 30 days, by the way. So you like lose a day. I mean, October has 31, December has 31. They chose November. I don't know why. It's an intense month to do this with Thanksgiving. It's my son's birth month, and he was sent home from school because of COVID. So I was like, oh my gosh, can I pull this off? But I did it. If you don't take any breaks from writing, if you write every day, it averages to 1,667 words a day. I know myself pretty well, and I know that if I took more than a day off in a row, it would be hard for me to get back. I'm the kind of person who, when the momentum stops, it's hard to get started again. My plan was to take 0 days off. I did take 1 unplanned day off. I think it wasn't even Thanksgiving, actually. It was a random day. I was just having a bad day. And then a couple days I only wrote 500 words. And then the other days I shot for about 2,000 words. I'll put in a picture of the graph if I can find it, but I stayed really close to like the average line. I did a good job staying on task. A lot of people, if I do this next year, I think I'll do it differently, plot their novel in October. They call it Preptober. I found out about this on October 29th. Even though I wanted to write, I haven't had this idea really for a novel. So I just had to like grab an idea and go for it. Sarah has a ton of free resources on plotting and just everything you would need. So I did download some of her things, and I did like a rough plot before I started. I have learned that writers fall into 2 categories, plotters and pantsers. So plotters meticulously plot out their novel ahead of time, and then they get to writing. Pantsers fly by the seat of their pants, write. And yeah, that's what they do. I think I am naturally more of a plotter, but I didn't have time. So like I said, I did a rough plot. Halfway through, I decided this is not the story. It was a very magical moment. I took a bath and I was laying in bed, and it was a eureka moment where I was like, no, this is the story. Some of the characters stayed, and it is the same story, but a lot of the big details shifted, and it was really cool. So I'm going all over the place. Hopefully you're, I don't know, is this boring? I guess if it was, you wouldn't be watching anymore. The cool thing about NaNoWriMo is you don't really have time to think too much. So I got halfway through the manuscript, changed some details. It's not like I went back and rewrote that. You don't have time to erase. You just keep going. So I made a note, like, this is where the story changes, and kept going the second half. And then I did go back after I had time and change some things. A lot of people believe you do not delete in NaNoWriMo. And one night even, I couldn't get any words. I wanted to cry. And Sarah said you can just journal about the novel, and that counts as words. So I literally was writing in my manuscript, I hate this story. It's the worst story in the world. Blah, blah, blah. Woe is me. And then I was depressed, and my character in the novel goes through some depression. And so I just naturally shifted over to journaling as the character. And then a huge scene idea came to me from that little journal exercise. Like, you guys, it was really cool. If you ever have wanted to write a book, it is a really fun exercise. And I love to read, and even watching Netflix, now that I've been through this rough draft process, I'm a different kind of reader and consumer of shows and movies. Like I can see, oh, they literally put in this conversation here just to get that piece of detail out that came from the conversation. It's really interesting to kind of get into the creator's mind. I guess one last thing is sprinting. I had never heard of this term. I had never heard of anything. But Sarah has a Facebook group, and it was basically like a Zoom meeting where she or one of her admins would come on and set a timer for like 25 minutes, and we'd all write, and then we'd get a 5-minute break and kind of chat in the chat box. And definitely that really helped me. There were some days when I did not want to write at all, and I looked to see if a sprint group was going on, and it was, and then I would end up getting 2,000 words. So that was so helpful. And even without those groups, that's how I wrote. So 2,000 words a day for me was about 100 minutes every day, which I don't know if that's a lot or a little. Like, I don't know how I guess it's just a difference of opinion. Like on one hand, it's only 100 minutes. On the other hand, it's every single day. And it's a lot of energy to write for 100 minutes. You know, you're not just doing busy work, you're being creative and creating something. So it was a lot. It was intense. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was intense. All that to say, although it was 100 minutes, I never, ever did it all in one sitting. What worked for me is I would try to get 500 words before the kids got up, 500 words during Norma's nap, another 500 words somewhere in the afternoon, and then 500 words before bedtime. That's what I mainly did every day, and it worked well for me. So what I'm gonna do now is I think I'm gonna let it rest for a couple weeks. I need a break. And then I think I'm gonna pick it back up and work on the first draft or the second draft. I feel like the rough draft should be called the rough draft, and then we should go on to first draft instead of the second draft. It is rough. That's another thing I learned, and people said it's gonna be rough. Don't let anyone read it, not even your spouse. I totally agree. Why now? It's a mess. But I wrote a 50,000 word manuscript, so I don't want to downplay it too much. Anyways, I think I'm gonna start a new blank document and transfer things over and read it. And then I'm gonna outline. I'm gonna outline what I have and then change things around and then do the third draft. And I don't know, after the first or second draft, I'm gonna have Philip read it if I want him to. And depending on his opinion, I might do it. I might get some beta readers and editors and self-publish it. I've been looking a little bit into that. What a great time we live in that you can just self-publish. And I didn't know this, but to me, self-publishing always meant like e-readers, like Kindle and the Nook. And that is a big part of it. But those companies also print paperbacks on demand. So I could self-publish and then someone could buy it and they wanted it bought in paperback form, and then Amazon would print it and ship it. And so I don't have to, I could be wrong about this, but I don't think so. I don't have to put up that money up front and ship a bunch of books to me and then sell them. It's all on demand on like different platforms like Amazon. I don't know if Google, I don't know. I really only know Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I think there's like a ton of places. But that's really cool. I would love to have a physical copy of something I wrote. So even if I don't self-publish, I think I'm gonna print it in a book format because I think that would just be really cool. So that's my story. That's where I've been. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna start cleaning my house again. I've spent every tiny break I have on this manuscript in the month of November. So I'm gonna take a little break from the writing, although it's December 1st as I'm filming and I already kind of miss it. It's weird that I haven't sat down and opened up the manuscript yet today. But it is December, it is Vlogmas, and so I'm not gonna do Vlogmas. I tried that last year and ended up getting sick, but I am going to try to post 3 videos every week in the month of December. Coincidentally, I've been really neglecting YouTube. I've been posting like once a week or even a little less, but my watch time has gone up and my ad sales have been going up too. I mean, a lot of the ad sales is because of the time of year. You get paid more this time of year because it's more expensive to advertise, but my watch time's gone up too. So I'm kind of gonna try to ride the wave, put a little more effort into my YouTube channel in the month of December. So I have some fun ideas for you, but leave a comment below if you have any requests. And thanks for listening if you got it to this far. This is like a go me video, but go me. I am so happy. And if you, again, have a dream to write a novel or do any kind of crazy big project, what are you waiting for? What was I waiting for? I did it in a month. It was so fun. Definitely, without a doubt, highlight of 2020. Now I know it doesn't take much, but if I would have done it in 2019, I think it would, no wait, I had a baby in 2019. You know, it's okay. All right, take care. Bye guys.